Hello, a very warm welcome to this Scottish Golf Zoom webinar. I'm Ian Evans, Club Business Manager at Scottish Golf, and I'll be your host today. If you haven't been able to join before, the Scottish Golf webinars are an interactive series for golf club managers and officials across the game in Scotland, and will be insight driven by our online panel of industry experts. The webinars give you the opportunity to learn from and pose questions to experts within their field. And today, the topic is a new innovative tool Scottish Golf is providing to affiliated clubs. That tool is Players First. Will provide affiliated golf clubs across Scotland with the opportunity to access the market-leading digital survey platform free of charge. This would normally cost clubs around £500. Players First is designed to help retain and recruit members by helping clubs gain a better understanding of their members' wants, needs and opinions. Club leaders can then use reliable data to make informed decisions to improve member experience. The survey is also customizable to your club's needs and is completely GDPR compliant. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by our expert, Amelia Lewis of Players First. Hello, Amelia.
Hey, Ian, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Amelia has headed up the UK operations of Players First since 2019. She has 10 years experience in sponsorship analysis and sports marketing, working as a consultant for 5 of those at one of the largest global data-driven sports agencies. Here, she managed behavioural analysis and customer experience research programs on behalf of rights holders and governing bodies. Her current role focuses on developing partnerships across the market, as well as providing hands-on support to clients to engage with their affiliated clubs to drive the most out of the platform and for the results. Thank you very much again for joining us, Amelia. The format of today's webinar will be led by Amelia, where she'll deliver a mix of presentation and video to demonstrate how the Players Survey platform works and how clubs can benefit from using it. But if you have any questions during the webinar, please just type them into the Q&A function below. Just click on the button and type in your question. And what we'll do is we'll collate them and we'll do a Q&A session at the end to address them if Amelia doesn't indirectly address them. So that is enough from me. Amelia, over to you.
Thanks, Ian, and good afternoon, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be able to speak with you this afternoon or in the future if you are watching this on demand. As Ian said, it's being recorded, so also feel free to answer the door or make yourselves a cup of tea. I'm just going to bring up some slides that I'll be using throughout the session today. And as Ian says, if there's any queries or questions that come up, then please use the QA function and we'll address those towards the end. So I'll start the official bit with an introduction to who I am. So firstly, I'm a very enthusiastic but non-competitive golfer. My main sport is hockey, which definitely doesn't translate into a great golf technique. But I encourage everyone to try the sport I love playing, but in fair weather mostly. My love of golf doesn't justify me being sat on your screens today, but as Ian shared in my intro, my background in sports, data and customer experience has given me a great understanding of how a platform like Players First and the partners we have can be a force of good for the recruitment and retention of members and guests within golf clubs. What I would like to achieve today is to highlight some of the importance of why listening to your members can be so powerful at your clubs, and also demonstrate that there is more to our Players First solution than just experience surveys. So as you can now see on screen, we'll cover these 3 main topics through some short videos and live demos. The first video that I'd like to share explains more about who Players First are, what we do, and how we do it. This will then be followed by a short film made with one of our client clubs through our partnership with England Golf.
Hi, Amelia. I don't think we can see the video at our end.
Surveys have been developed
Apologies all, I'm not sure if that screen was being shared. Let me try again.
We are 8 years old
All good
and
now.
born out of the passion of two common interests from our two co-founders: understanding, measuring and improving customer experience, and golf. We believe we are pioneers in digitalizing customer experience management, and our platform is supporting over 2,000 clubs worldwide to grow golf through improving experiences to retain golfers. You might notice the specific mention of golfer as an experience measurement. The reason for this is because the surveys have been developed at the request of our longest standing client, the Danish Golf Union. They wanted a platform which they could make available to all clubs within the market to distribute and gather golfer experience feedback, which would allow both the club and the union to enhance their experience to ensure the strong health of the sport in years to come. Other federations, governing bodies and associations we are extremely fortunate enough to work with as partners are shown on this slide. Golfer Feedback is helping federations provide centralised initiatives and bespoke regional support, which is richly underpinned by data. Partners and client clubs continue to request and help us develop specific surveys to ensure the needs of the golfers are being met and hopefully exceeded. The support offer available through our partnership with Scottish Golf is shown on screen. We are committed to delivering the best solution for our clients. So from over 2 years in the making, our previous platform was completely overhauled and optimised to benefit the users and included the development of a host of new features. We'll get to those later. Through the partnership, we're committed to supporting affiliated clubs with the opportunity to access a 12-month member experience survey subscription. The standard survey template has been developed with Scottish Golf to make this fit for purpose in the market. We will also be supporting Scottish Golf with training, resources, and look to build future case studies and continue to engage with clubs through webinars and sharing back best practice. Some of the most important reasons why we continue to bang the drum on surveying are shown on screen. Mostly, removing hearsay means you can listen to the majority and not just the few. Surveys can act as a great engagement tool with your customers and members. They can also provide a means of tracking the development of specific investments or future business objectives. Most importantly, they provide you with a solid understanding of what is most important to your members and your guests. Underlying all of this is that by improving experience, increases loyalty and drives the bottom line. Just having a look through old emails, I have received survey requests from events, banks, travel companies, etc. You name it, they want to know how your experience was. It provides an opportunity to engage with me further and increase my chances of considering their services again. This becomes a lot easier for a business in which I have a positive experience with in the first place. Apologies if after this webinar you become more conscious of the efforts from retailers and providers to get your feedback. This example of a pop-up survey appeared as I was reading an online article. The Snap survey consisted of 4 short questions to get some top-line feedback on my experience with their platform, but also then with the article specifically. I actually thought this was a very effective and efficient way to gather experience feedback, and all without the need of my contact information. So there are lots of easy ways and survey solutions that can be used to gather feedback from your customers and members. What I hear a lot from client clubs is that when bespoke surveys have been created and used historically, it's often resource heavy and analysis becomes unmanageable. Whilst we encourage all clubs to survey their members through any platform, I wanted to share a short clip from one of our other client clubs on their experience with Players First.
Welcome to Rochford 100 Golf Club. I'm a director at the golf club and have been engaged in running the survey here for the last 3 years. Our club, Rochford 100 Golf Club, had surveyed members beforehand, before we used Players First survey. The survey that was conducted beforehand was an online survey where we brought in the tools to ask members questions, and then the committee, our golf club committee, then created the questions themselves, which were much more targeted to specifics that they wanted to know about. And I suppose when you ask people questions about things you want to know about, quite a lot of the time you know the answers. The purpose of the survey with Players First was we wanted to create a holistic business plan for the immediate and the mid-term planning of the golf club, both financial, membership, satisfaction, customer engagement, and a whole host of other things. By using Players First, the questions were already prepared for us. They were much more neutral than any questions that we could have created. Yes, so when we were planning for our survey, we looked at a number of different options. We looked at 3 surveys that provided similar services to Players First. The reason we chose Players First is, first of all, they were aligned with the England Golf Union. That was a major benefit because we were using England Golf Union for support in our business plan and many other of our policies and procedures that we had in place at the golf club. So that was a big plus for us. The second one was the benchmarking scores that were provided that didn't seem to be provided by other services. The benchmarking was important so that we could compare ourselves with other golf clubs in the UK or locally. And that data could be broken down to specific service areas, financial areas. And this provided us good examples that we could use in the survey and then reflect the findings back to our membership as to where our golf club is actually performing. And of course, if you're going to deliver a successful business plan for a golf club, you need membership engagement, you need them to be supportive of the outcomes. So by being able to present where we were compared to other golf clubs, and also be supported by important governing bodies such as the England Golf Union, it pretty much ticked all the boxes that we needed to start the process of preparing a business plan. So we've conducted 2 surveys using Players First. We set up one in 2019 and we set up one in 2021. The one in 2019 worked really well. We had no experience of running a survey similar to Players First, so we received a lot of support from our local support officer from England Golf Union and also from Players First staff. That included the explanation of the questions, the benchmarking, and all of the other information that we needed to provide our members to actually encourage them to complete the survey. And of course, then that gave us the opportunity to analyse the data when it came back. And there is a lot of data, a lot of information that comes back that we can now base our decisions on, evidence-based decision making. But to actually understand some of that data really relied on Players First and England Golf Union to put it into context of where we were as a golf club business. So we didn't need so much support in 2021, but we were confident that every time we needed some kind of advice, some kind of technical solution, we were able to reach out and get that. And we were then able to explain both the results by comparing 2019 and 2021 together in a clear and transparent way to our members at our recent AGM. Well, hopefully it's much more promising and much more planned. We've put in various improvements that our members wanted in our clubhouse. We've brought some improvements on our golf course. And we're able now to plan those improvements alongside our income, what actual expenditure levels we can now put onto our golf course, in our golf clubhouse, and the services we can actually deliver on an incremental way. We have a catchphrase here on the board, evolution, not revolution. And by actually explaining that clearly to our members, we've got a direction that we're traveling in, which we think that our members will enjoy that journey. I suppose I'd ask them a question if they were hesitant. Why? These people, these members are your customers. They provide you your main financial income, and you really want to satisfy those. We found the survey provided us a great deal of information that we weren't expecting. And of course, every golf club that has members has vocal members, has members with very strong opinions that are often coming forward. Of course, you've often got members that aren't in those groups, that remain quiet, keep their opinion to themselves, and this provides an ideal platform for you to listen to them. Of course, they pay the same fee as everybody else, and engagement with those members is crucial. We do not have a moratorium on the boards, committees and organisational groups of golf clubs on all good ideas. And by actually going out and asking for comments, there's some real pearls of wisdom that come from your members. And there's some other things you think, oh, we're doing that really well. And you get a different viewpoint on services you've been taking for granted for many years. So my advice would be, if you really are involved and interested in building a solid business platform and business plan for the future of a golf club, the survey is a really important tool to do that.
I'm sure there were a few comments, issues, perhaps obstacles that you can all relate to at your club. But as Mick mentions, we have developed a very effective survey template. And I wanted to share a bit more detail on why we believe these to be so useful and effective for golf clubs. So I'll play you the third and final video. Risk of scaring some of you away, I wanted to share the importance of the science of surveying. Through development of our surveys, together with golf clubs and golfing federations, we have developed a dual-layer approach to the questionnaire templates. Firstly, the predictive framework of questions create the bank of template questions within each of our survey types available. The core service areas consist of multiple touchpoint questions to get to the detail or satisfaction across all of your main facilities and assets at your venue. For example, the tee box areas feature within the course questions, or the range mat conditions within the practice facilities. Responses from the questions within the framework are then correlated against the specific customer's overall experience score. This is commonly referred to as the Net Promoter Score, and I will talk more on this in a moment. The reason that we do this is to be able to easily identify what areas of the club are most important to your members in order to improve their overall experience and increase loyalty. The second development with the template is the functionality to add in bespoke questions with any of the service areas. Alongside the mandatory or lock questions, there are optional questions and bespoke questions. The template is designed to be as flexible as you would expect, but provide enough robust feedback to give you the most meaningful insights. We know that our templates and methodology are working because we have achieved a positive domain reputation of 99%. A good domain reputation increases the deliverability of emails. This means 99% of our emails are landing in your members' inboxes. And once the email is in their inbox, the response rates of the members' surveys across England is actually the highest of any market that we survey. Whilst our old platform still achieved an impressive 45% response rate, our enhanced mobile optimization for respondents and scheduled reminder emails have all helped to increase this to 65% response rate, which means that you are likely to receive feedback from the majority of your members. This helps to justify actions and changes based on the many, not just the few more vocal members. As I mentioned during the importance with the framework is that all touchpoints are being correlated to the unique responses to the overall experience question. We use a standard scale-based question known as the Net Promoter Score. NPS is widely accepted as the most robust means of measuring how satisfied customers are with the experience of a company or product. NPS indicates how loyal customers are to a company and is calculated using the industry standard methodology seen on screen. Whilst this is great in theory, I will next introduce the results dashboard to give you an idea of how results are visualized in Players First. Before I take you to a demo of our results view, the chart illustrated shows how very simply the results view are shown on our dashboard. Along the bottom x-axis is the scale of what touchpoints or service areas are deemed as low important or high importance to your customers. Those areas that are furthest right have a higher importance, which means that if you take action to improve these areas, you are most likely to increase their overall satisfaction due to the correlation between their two scores. The areas furthest left have been correlated and deemed with low importance, meaning that even if you make changes to improve these areas, it is unlikely to have a significant impact on their overall satisfaction. What this means is that the data has already interpreted where you should look for more detail on the important areas to make decisions and take those actions, and to increase your loyalty. It also means that the scores that you will see as your lowest average scores might not impact their overall satisfaction, but it's always nice to improve. So I hope those videos and the audio were working well for you just now. Before I take you to that dashboard, I wanted to share what you would expect as a new club using Players First. You will be supported by the club development team at Scottish Golf to activate a free 12-month subscription to our member experience survey. They're experienced in the very simple survey setup, customization, test and preview functions. You can later decide on the most suitable option to launch your surveys at your convenience. As Ian mentioned earlier, we are completely GDPR compliant, so you can rest assured on the security of the platform. As you can see from the current slide, the survey link is sent with an invitation email to your members and then hopefully completed. A commonly asked question is around the anonymity of respondents. So our platform allows your members to choose to remain anonymous or to provide their contact details. If they do give this consent, it allows the golf club to follow up on their feedback directly with the member. Because golf membership is not just a transactional investment, the majority of members do in fact leave their contact details, averaging 65%. As responses are received, your results dashboard populates in real time. At this point, you will be able to access the comments, lists, and the benchmarking score comparisons. The final step of this feedback loop is to create an action plan based off the insights. Again, there are tools and resources to help make this process manageable and straightforward. So on screen now, you will see a summary of some of the key features of our results dashboard. And it's these that I'd like to show in a live demo with you now. So hopefully on screen, you'll be able to see a welcome to the Players First. When you first log in, this is the home page and provides you with links to support articles on some of the main features of the dashboard. The navigation button in the top right corner gives the options to the settings areas, as well as additional support options at the bottom. Under the survey dashboards at the top, you will find the results views that are available within your account. So I'm going to show you today the member survey results view. And bear in mind, this is a complete demo account with dummy data visible on screen. So the results view, this is split into 4 main sections that I'll talk you through now. At the top and the very center of the screen, you'll see the average score for the current question and filters that are applied. By default, this will appear as your average NPS for all survey responses from this demo club across 2020. Furthest left is where you will find the evaluation points. These are the aggregated service areas and the individual touch points that have been evaluated in your survey template. The average score is shown next to each field. Over on the right-hand side, your filter options and your background variables can be found. The score is the average score for that particular golfer group. And in the central view, this is our showstopper and is the priority map by default. This is because we believe this to be the most important interpretation of your results. Currently on screen, the average service area scores are being displayed in the priority map. Now you will see these are color-coded by category as seen in the video before. Red, which suggests that the service area is in need of immediate attention, through to the purples, which are overperforming, where the level of service should be maintained. The categorization is unique to the set of results for each club. In this example, the course is the single service area categorized as in need of immediate attention. So let's focus on what touch points within the course are being shown as the most important to members and consider where and how improvements can be made. By clicking through the service area, hopefully, the priority map will now display the touch points within the course. You will see that there is one touch point within the course surface area, which is red flagged. And this should naturally be considered an area of priority. There are also a number of underperforming orange touch points. And to prioritize these, we recommend assessing them from right to left on the priority map. The furthest right are those where if improvements were made, it's likely to have a bigger impact on improving your overall satisfaction of your members. In this example, the course is well maintained. Whilst this is quite ambiguous, your member comments should be read through to provide further insight on the specifics about the areas they're dissatisfied with. Next to this, the course is varied and exciting to play, is also orange. And something that came out of the conversation with Mick is that with this particular insight, the club management challenged the course manager to improve this score because it was so important to their members. The course manager risked growing specific area of extreme rough, which split the fairway of 2 holes even more, and also reduced the runoff to a 3rd hole. He won't mind me sharing this, but the scores for this touch point improved by +5 points year on year. So actionable insight and tracked improvement at 0 cost to the club. In the demo account, I'll now select both 2019 and 2020 to give you an idea of what the development view can do. If I select the course is varied and exciting to play, you will now see, hopefully, the blue line, which is the club line, has decreased year on year from 2019 score to 2020 scores. But the benchmark, which is the grey line, has actually remained consistent. So potentially in this case, the course manager could have some great ideas to test out on their club. You can use this development view across all service areas and all touch points. If I select back to 2020 again, the third and final view that I'd like to show you is the ranking view. So it's useful if the club are interested to see their scores against other clubs within the benchmark. You can see that for this touch point, the course is varied and exciting to play. The club score, which is the blue bar, ranks 35 out of the 41 clubs in the benchmark who asked the same question in 2020. So hopefully this gives you an idea of areas where you can improve or groups of clubs within similar scores or average scores. What we hope to do is to be able to offer regional benchmarking as standard with Scottish Golf, as well as building up more specific benchmarks relating to facility, course and management types. So back to the original view and the priority map. Over on the right-hand side, you will see the filter options. And you can toggle between the average score from each of your golfer groups or the distribution, so the percentage of responses from that particular golfer type. You can see that in this demo account, 69% of the responses were from male responders and 31% were from female responders. You can also now see that the males have a much lower average NPS than what the females have given at this club. I can drill down even further and just select males so that the priority map now updates just to show the average scores across the male responders. And you may have noticed that this now displays 2 orange service areas. And this is because management and information is showing to be more important to male members at the club. I mentioned about the comments, and it's really useful to get this anecdotal feedback and read through it to understand what it is about these specific touch points and maybe get some ideas or those pearls of wisdom that Mick suggested. And once again, these are just for demonstrative purposes, and there's a limited number of them. But within management, if I select my detractors, and then I select or type in board as the filter option, any comments that have pulled through board within the comment will display on the screen. Another example might be that if access to tee times was an issue at the club, I can search for tee times, and any comments that included the mention of tee times will now display. And you will see that there are actually 2 members that have left their contact details, and it could be a great way to engage and follow up further with these members. Comments can also be used to create marketing messaging for your club to recruit new members or attract visitors. Comments, volunteer lists, and also a simple report can be downloaded from the platform, making it very simple to share across teams and departments at your club. So I'm very pleased the online demo worked, because sometimes we can have a few problems. So now on screen, hopefully you will see just a few more of our client favourite features within the dashboard. So I hope this session has piqued your interest in the importance of surveying your biggest asset, your customers. We look forward to working together with Scottish Golf across their support fund, and hope that this is something you will find valuable at your club. Before I pass back to Ian, a final thank you for your time and engagement this afternoon, and I look forward to hearing any questions you may have.
Excellent, thank you very much, Amelia. We only had one question, and it was from Herbert, who said, we ran a survey several years ago, offered £250 prize to ensure a good response rate. We only had a 47% response. How do we get a better response? Now, my first reaction is that's actually, in my experience, quite a good response. What's your take on that number, but what would your general tips be to make sure clubs maximise the response rate they can get?
Well, yes, I agree. It does sound like a good response rate, especially if it is quite a comprehensive member survey. What we are learning is that through the platform, you can offer an incentive such as that. But for a member survey, it doesn't actually impact or drive up the response rate at all. So compared to surveys with an incentive and those without, it's very, very similar in the average response rate. And we think that's just because, as I mentioned in one of the videos, it's a vested interest. It's kind of an emotional commitment, part of a community rather than just a transactional membership. So members wanting to feel engaged, have an input, give their feedback, I think is one of the main benefits of surveying, rather than incentives. Where actually I see a positive on the incentives is that it can be followed up in a really nice way to engage back to your membership after a survey. So it can be used as a bit of a PR piece at the club champs, kind of announce the prize draw. So I wouldn't say it's not worthwhile doing, but I don't believe, or from what we know, it doesn't really impact the response rates much at all.
Okay. Another one, a couple more come in. Les Durno, hi Les. The question is, can this be used for visitors as well as members within the terms of Scottish Golf subscription? So I can, from Scottish Golf's point of view, we've only purchased licenses for the member survey, but you of course would provide, I assume, that additional service to clubs as well, Amelia.
Yes, certainly. So we do offer a guest survey solution, and we can absolutely make that available through to the Scottish clubs as well. At this moment, it would be a paid subscription, but we are launching more and more integrations to be able to automate that as well, so that clubs are being drip fed feedback across the season, and in quite an automated way. Okay.
Bruce has asked how often you would recommend asking members to complete surveys to ensure engagement.
Yeah, great question. It really does vary from club to club. There isn't a solid rule of thumb to say that it should be an annual thing, a biannual thing, kind of once every other year. What clubs are starting to explore to do within their subscriptions is launch a comprehensive survey to all their members, and then they've got the ability to turn off a number of questions and maybe focus on F&B or the course maybe 6 months later. So the club can control the frequency of delivery and also kind of the depth of information they want to get from that.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. So within the 1 year subscription, you'll get from Players First via Scottish Golf, you can launch as many surveys as you like. That doesn't necessarily say that that's the best thing to do, but as Amelia says, one comprehensive survey maybe once a year, then you focus down and perhaps send to focus groups within the club around that. So you're not getting that survey fatigue, but you'll be able to drill down some areas that you want some more data on. So the question from Dave, what's the ongoing cost after the initial 12-month period? Well, this is we hope to be able to provide clubs that beyond. We can't commit to that at the moment, but if it's popular, it's certainly something which would, would be a very strong case for doing so. But Amelia, if a club wanted to come on, do you want to put a cost on that? I mean, we said it's around about £500 for the member survey, but hopefully that's something we can continue to support in partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what we've learned from other federations that we've worked with a number of years, you do drive the benefits when you start to get the development view and understand what impact the actions have had. Current pricing for a market is £425 per annum plus VAT for the member survey. But as you say, Ian, this is kind of something that we're looking at ahead, and maybe that could be a reduced subscription according to the benchmark and number of clubs and the success we do get. Okay, excellent. Trevor said, when you make comparisons of the results against other clubs, are those clubs named? No, so the aggregated kind of rankings view, they're anonymous. So you can just see where you sit in position amongst 40 or 50 clubs, let's say. We are working on a new feature to create kind of custom benchmarking. I'm not quite sure when that will be available in this market, but if a club is willing to participate in custom benchmarking, they can select themselves to be available to view by other clubs and vice versa. So we're just testing that feature at the moment, and if it's something that is going to be useful, then of course we'll launch that and see what the uptake is.
Excellent. Les, again, he says in your example, you had details of the members' gender, age, group, handicap, index, etc. Where does the information come from? Is the system integrated with VMS club systems or the provider? My understanding is that's input by the member themselves during the survey, filling out the survey experience, and it's not integrated. Is that correct? Probably should just hand it right to you.
Yeah, no, well answered. Yeah, it's completed by your members, so we don't have an integration. That's not to say we can't, but at the moment, the launch process is the club would export a list of their members. They would then upload that into the platform, and that will initiate an automated send to their members' email addresses. So that's the only information, and maybe their first name if you want to customize the email invite that you would need. The other option of launching, I guess, whilst we're talking about those options, is if you didn't want to launch directly through the platform, you can access a generic shareable link that you can include within your own club email communication, so directly from your CRM system, or however your members are used to receiving emails from your club. What that means, though, is that we're not able to track response rates because we don't know how many people are receiving that shareable link in the first instance, and you're not able to set up reminder emails. Those automated reminder emails, we know, spikes the response rates to those members that haven't yet responded. So the two options are available to everyone within all the subscriptions. So hopefully that's helpful.
Excellent. That brings the close to the questions we had, Amelia. Thank you very much. Just before we close off, I just want to very briefly highlight the 3 other funds that we've launched simultaneously with the Players First partnership that I know will be of interest to other clubs on this webinar. Amelia, if you just put the first slide up for me, please. Thanks very much. So the membership marketing fund, I'm going to keep this really simple. There's £500 available to each club, and that's £300 to play for creatives such as photography and videography to make your club look as attractive and appealing to potential members as possible. And then £200 for paid social media advertising to actually capture the people, capture their interest and give you those leads to convert into membership. But we're also going to support that with a workshop to show you how to use online design platforms for your adverts, and also examples of how you can go about getting good photography and video and some best practice around planning as well. And that fund closes on the 25th of February. Next one, please, Amelia. The Visitor Golfer Support Fund. I mean, this is one that's been close to my heart for a number of years now, because I know in my previous work with clubs, the visitor revenue is very, very important. Second behind membership, which I fully appreciate, is the lifeblood of our golf clubs. But it's a very important revenue stream. So Scottish Golfs aren't the experts of visitor revenue, but we've teamed up with Platform 77, who very much are, and they're going to provide hands-on support for golf clubs to create a bespoke and confidential marketing and sales plan for your club. And because it's such an important area for clubs coming out of COVID, in a highly profitable area, if you can plan for it and execute it well, we think the best thing to do is to partner you with experts to give you the best possible advice and planning that you can get. And that also closes on the 25th of February. Next one, please, Amelia. And then lastly, the Club Education Fund, again, this is up to £300 for all affiliated golf clubs to pay for any training or education for a staff member or club volunteer, elected official and whatnot, to attend any training from any provider that simply increases their skills to help the club. And we aren't prescriptive about who you can engage to deliver that training. We simply ask you to say, what skills those training are going to be. So it could be for a greenkeeper, it could be marketing community, it could be a club manager. It doesn't matter. We appreciate the different clubs and different things. So it's a very flexible fund to support you, and it's 100% grant. We're not asking you to match it. And that closes a little bit later than the other ones on the 25th, Friday the 25th of March. So please do, get those applications in. And ladies and gentlemen, that brings us a close to the Scottish Golf webinar. Thank you, everyone who's joined us live, and of course to Amelia Lewis for demoing Players First and answering your questions. We're going to be sending out a recording of this webinar to all that registered with a link to register your interest in getting access to your club's own free of charge Player First account. We'll also send out links to the other funds we just highlighted there. We do expect demand for these funds to outstrip availability, so please do get your applications in before the closing date, as any made after that date cannot be considered. As always, if you've got any questions about any of these services or these funds or any of our club support services, you can email us, and that is clubsupport@scottishgolf.co.uk. and we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you again, Amelia, and a good day to you all. Bye-bye.